The object to this lesson is to teach the microservices architectural style for building applications and its benefits microservices. It's actually an architectural style in which an application is built as a collection of loosely coupled services. So as shown in this diagram, let us look at this example. This diagram shows an e-commerce application that is built using the microservices architectural style. So each box shown here represents a service and it is an independently deployable application containing one or more Docker containers in it. So if this application was monolithic, you will have a single deployable software package with all these capabilities very tightly coupled. For instance, a program may choose to implement each of these services using the object-oriented programming concepts such as classes, and with one class importing another and calling its method typically used in Java programs. In a microcell, as though each cell was shown here exposes a RESTful API used to enable other services to communicate with it, and each of these services is also built by a small services oriented team in developers. In Kubernetes, it is each of these services shown will be managed using the board abstractions containing the Docker container representing the application. The ideal size of each deployment and development team is on that can be fed by two breads or two pizza boxes, that is about to 6 people. So at this point you may have a question, why should I break up my large application into containers and manage it this way? What exactly are the benefits? A big advantage to the microservices approach is that each service shown there is independently deployable. That is, each of these services is backed into a Docker image and pushed a container registry, and this concept of independently deployable services is one of the very important characteristics and benefits of microservices. Let us understand as with an example. If there is a monolithic application and let's say you wanted to upgrade one component of its small component, you want to some bug fixing, you will have to redeploy their software, and during this heavy lifting code, often in production something goes wrong, and then you will have to undo the entire process, reverted back. It's extremely time consuming, error pro and slow. Whereas a microservices, you can deploy and upgrade each of these services independently, which is much easier, less error prone and more agent. So the two breads are sized big boxes. Focus teams are responsible for the design and development of their service. As a result, these developers in a team have very good knowledge about the code, how it works, and can make changes and decision very fast. In a monolithic application, you have a huge spaghetti of code, and eventually you could end up in a situation where no one really understands the complete application. It's so complicated, and as a result making any functional changes is very hard. Notice here that the search was deployed by one team is consumed by some other the teams, and to enable this consumption offers a very deferred API, and this process is called coupling application components because of the decoupling nature of microservices. It is easy to scale your services. Let's say you want to scale a server, or you can easily do that by placing a load balancer and creating several replicas without impacting or reconfiguring any of the other services. Cross-time communication in microservices, it's also minimal because of their defending API interfaces that people understand how to use. Talk to team communication overhead is often found to be a huge issue in organization, limiting and the scalability and reliability of monolithic applications. So how do you deploy and manage this microservices architecture? That's exactly the reason why Kubernetes does exist. Orchestration systems such as the Kubernetes make it easier to build, deploy, manage such software architectures. By providing numerous API abstractions such as a pod deployment, load balancing, naming, services, discovery, namespaces, and so on, about which you will learn in disclosure. No need to summarize a key points regarding microservices. Microservices is a architectural style of building application in the style. The application is built as a collection of loosely coupled services. Each service is built by a small service oriented team of developers who can be fed by a maximum of two breeds of boxes. It has been already proven that this group size is a most ideal for sharing knowledge, for making fast decisions, achieving agility and high productivity, and does not suffer from issues that the large teams have, such as politics, hierarchy, infighting, and poor visibility with respect to what people are doing. Each service is containerized. That is the software aspect endure during the image push to a container registry and is independently make dependable. It easy to upgrade the scale the application. Also, each service is decoupled from other services using their defined API and load balancers. Gathering is provide API abstractions that make it easier to build, deploy, and manage a microservices architecture using their defined API and load balancers. Kubernetes provide API abstractions that make it easier to build, deploy, and manage a microservices architecture, and you will learn how to do it in this course. Now you have understand what a microservice architecture is and its benefits. Thank you guys. This is the lecture on benefits of the microservices. Please guys, do like, share, and subscribe this channel Naren Studios and encourage this channel. Thank you.